Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out today. I am Master Corporal Michael Eckert. I'm the Public Information Officer for this agency. I'll be available after the conference for any spelling or questions that the media might have. Now I'd like to recognize some of our distinguished guests. The Honorable Matthew Meyer, Newcastle County Executive, Colonel Vaughn Bond, Chief of Police, Dr. Josh Thomas, Executive Director of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and Mr. David Humes from Attack Addiction. And I'd like to thank members of County Council for coming, and again, the members of the press, thank you for coming out. And I also apologize for anybody that I may have inadvertently missed. In 2016, the Newcastle County Division of Police launched an innovative program called Hero Help. This program reached beyond certain criminal arrests in order to combat addiction and related crimes. In our treatment in lieu of arrest, there are no charges. If the participant fails to abide by the program agreement, then the original officer will move forward with an arrest warrant and allow the case to go through the traditional criminal justice path. The benefit of this treatment in lieu of arrest is that the criminal charge is never sought, therefore it never shows up on their criminal history. Prior to 2018, the Hero Help program was funded and run by the Division of Police. In 2018, this program received funding through a grant from the Center of Drug Policy and Enforcement out of the University of Baltimore. And this grant was for the amount of $118,628. The University of Baltimore grant funded the Hero Help program for a 12-month period and allowed us to hire a civilian coordinator. We also learned that our program was proving successful, but also had room for expansion. When this grant expired in 2019, it became apparent that our efforts required further funding to continue assisting those in need of an avenue towards substance abuse treatment. Simultaneously, in 2018, the division was awarded an additional grant from the Department of Justice for the creation of the mental health program. This program paired a trained clinician with an officer in the field to respond to persons in mental health crisis and divert them from the criminal justice system, all the while getting them treatment they need, as well as providing a resource for them and their families. The Hero Help program and the mental health program were then able to obtain additional funds from the Newcastle County Council, State of Delaware budget appropriation sponsored by Representative Longhurst, the Criminal Justice Council, the Liberty Mid-Atlantic High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area, HIDTA, totaling for the amount of $253,336. In the first 2 years of the Hero Help program, we have had 70 individuals enter the program seeking treatment. In the year and a half after hiring the full-time coordinator, we saw the individuals entering the program increase to over 350. This further proves the benefit of dedicating full-time resources to this epidemic. Also, in its inaugural year, the Mental Health Alliance assessed 649 individuals from incarceration and made 311 referrals for additional services. Because of these statistics, the division was able to compete nationally for several grants. Earlier this month, the department was awarded a grant from the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, Comprehensive Opioid Abuse Site-Based Program, the Treatment Improvement Project for $1,198,919. And we also received the Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program from the Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program, $744,406. The Criminal Justice Council Comprehensive Opioid Abuse Site-Based Program also awarded us $98,390. Now, that all totaled out to $2,041,715. Based on the success of the Hero Help program and the mental health card, the Newcastle County Division of Police merged these two units into the newly formed Behavioral Health Unit. The Behavioral Health Unit will be an innovative, multidisciplinary approach that will assist community members who are dealing with mental health concerns or substance use disorders. This will be accomplished by combining police resources and data with members of the medical and social services fields. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to turn the podium over to Newcastle County Executive Matthew Monk. Sir.
Thank you, and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's great to see everyone here. This is a wonderful day for our county police, and it's a wonderful day for the people of Newcastle County. First, let's take a moment to look backwards at what this police department has done historically over the last few years. Policing is changing. The expectations on police departments and police officers is very different than it was just a few years ago. Among other things, we're recognizing that simply arresting and incarcerating someone with a substance abuse addiction disorder, someone with a mental health issue, is often not the best path. Many police agencies across this country are not moving quickly enough to address this change in policing tactics. I really salute our police chief, Colonel Bond, the women and men of this police department, and a couple of our partners who are up here, NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness, the Delaware chapter, and Attack Addiction, leading organization addressing substance abuse disorder here in Delaware. In collaboration with them and so many other government agencies, we are taking a leap forward today in forming a behavioral health unit of our police department. If you take police out of the equation and just look at mental health, and you look at substance abuse, and you look at what agencies, what individuals, what groups are coming into contact with those who face substance abuse disorder, those who face dire mental health issues, very often the first contact, the most substantive contact that those individuals and families have is with law enforcement. So it makes sense that we make sure in the first place, every single police officer is trained to address issues of substance abuse disorder and mental health. We do that through our academy, and we are leading the way in doing that in our academy. In addition, as today shows, we're also doing that in attaching our police officers to specialists who are non-uniformed police officers who know how to address these issues and get individuals the treatment and assistance that they need. There are a few people that I want to highlight that have been absolutely critical to this effort and making sure that we have the resources that we need. First and foremost, Lori Kane is hiding in back. We would not be here today if not for the tremendous grant writing work of Lori Kane. Lori, stand up for a minute, if you will. Let's give Lori a round of applause. I want to recognize Dan Moss and Lieutenant Herring of our Hero Help program, who really have taken an idea and turned it into hundreds and hundreds of individuals across this county, a model really for the country of how police can engage with people facing substance abuse disorder. Would you two please stand? And Colleen Kearns from our Police Mental Health Alliance. I went out with them a few months ago, and it is very tough work. Anytime there's a mental health case, police officers out on patrol refer the case to Colleen or Officer Kearns, and she is out there doing tremendous work, getting individuals across our community assistance that they need so that they are no longer a law enforcement problem and that they can move forward in their lives. Officer Kearns, if you would stand up. I don't remember. Alex, stand up as well, please. Let's give them a round of applause. So many grants are non-competitive. You get them. There are various grants with the state where we just fill out paperwork and we get them. Almost all this money today is highly competitive grants. It's things that our police department or the police agency does not get automatically. It's due to the amazing work of the colonel, the amazing work of our command staff, and the amazing work of women and men on the front lines, obviously in collaboration with Lori Kane writing those grants, that we are here today. We are moving forward. What this will do is enable us to dramatically multiply the hundreds and hundreds of police cases we've had just in the past year to affect thousands of police incidents across this county in a positive way. It's really an important step forward for our county, and I really appreciate all of those collaborating with us for being here today.
Thank you, sir. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to Colonel Bond, Chief of Police of Newcastle County.
Well, good morning. I'm not sure what's left to say at this point, but I do want to thank everyone for joining us today as we announce the $2 million in grant funding that have been used to create, or that will be used to create, our behavioral health unit. The focus of this unit, as you've heard, will be to assist those who are dealing with substance abuse disorder and mental illness. As Corporal Eckert stated, this is the result of our efforts to initially help those who are suffering from addiction. As we ventured out to help, we soon discovered that many of the people suffered from both substance abuse and mental health issues. We soon realized that no matter how many people we help, the need continued to grow. The more we told others about our willingness to help, the more they sought us out. And we have an obligation to deliver on our promises. We recognize that in order to do this, we would need additional civilian personnel and funding. As mentioned, we worked with our grant writer, Lori Kane, and aggressively sought funding at the county, state, and federal levels. It was imperative that this funding was secured because we wanted to continue our efforts of changing the lives of those suffering from both issues. Some may question, why, as a police department, are you going so far outside of traditional police boundaries? Some will say that's not your area of expertise. Leave it to those who work in the mental health and addiction fields. To all of them, I would simply say this: the Newcastle County Police Department does this because we care. As police officers, we see firsthand how addiction and untreated mental illness can destroy individuals as well as their families. All police departments throughout this country have a platform, and that platform can be used and should be used to bridge the gap for those in need. Since the inception of our Hero Help program in 2016 and our mental health car in 2018, we have done just that. As the Chief of Police, I am extremely proud of the work our officers and external partners have done so far. We have quietly gone about the business of helping those in our society that have been marginalized. Today, yes, we announced the fact that we received over $2 million in grant funding. But more importantly, we announced to those suffering from mental illness and substance abuse disorder that we care and we are here to help you. This grant money is not for Newcastle County Police. This grant money is for those individuals who are going through trying times. With this grant money, we will hire another mental health professional to partner with an officer for a second mental health response team. In addition, we're going to hire case managers to help with the oversight and the organization and the tracking of those individuals that we come into contact with. Many children are affected by substance abuse disorders in their families, as well as mental illness. There's a need for us to pay more attention to those children. So our plan is to hire a child victims advocate. And we have other positions within the behavioral health unit that we will hire in order to complete this unit so that it is fully functioning and will be successful. This is an exciting time for us, and we're looking forward to the future. So before I close, and I know that some of these individuals have already been recognized, I would like to personally acknowledge and thank those who have worked and supported the Hero Help and mental health initiatives from the beginning. civilians, and some of whom are not here, but they're still worthy of acknowledgement. Civilians, Lisa Schaefer, Sarah Mariota, Alex Schofield, and Kate Lott, for your tireless work. Officer Kearns, who has been with us from the beginning with the mental health unit, thank you. Lieutenant Herring, Officers George, Emmy, Nickentuck, Heckman, and Heitzman, just to name a few. But I want to point out that many, if not all of our officers, have brought into this program. And they are making referrals and changing the lives of individuals that they come into contact with, pointing them in the direction of help. Major Feeser, who oversees our grant submissions and applications. Without her involvement, her knowledge, her enthusiasm, this would not be possible. Major McLucas, for making our communities aware of the Hero Help program by way of advertisements. We've been on billboards, in movie theaters, the Christiana Mall, buses, and other locations throughout Newcastle County to make sure that the individuals who are in need of help know where they can go and where they can find it. Captain Treadwell, who has been involved in the creation of our police and mental health car since the inception. He will also be responsible for the oversight of our behavioral health unit. Thank you, John, for your work. Dan Moss, our civilian help coordinator. When you heard the numbers of initially we had 70 people enrolled in the program, that's true. But what we realized is that we took it as far as we can take it as a police department. And there was a need for us to have an individual who was knowledgeable, who had outside resources that could join our team in order to help us take this program to the next level. And that person would have been Dan Moss. This is a young man who makes himself available 24/7. I don't know if he works 24/7, but he makes himself available 24/7. And just last week, he was recognized for his efforts and received the Courage Award from the Attack Addiction Banquet. I would like to also thank the following external partners who have been with us on this journey, some of which have already been mentioned, but they're worthy of mentioning again. The Department of Justice, DSAM, the Criminal Justice Council, Connections, Attack Addiction, Northeast Treatment, Newcastle County Executive's Office, Newcastle County, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, HIDA, Widener University, University of Delaware, NAMI, Christiana Care, and a special thank you to Valerie Longhurst, Representative Longhurst, who's unable to make it today. Oh, she is? Where? Oh, I'm a trained observer. That's what I do. But a special thank you to Representative Longhurst. When our initial grant funding expired, we were trying to figure out exactly how were we going to get this program and keep our mental health program going, the Hero Help program going. And I had an opportunity to talk with Representative Longhurst at the NAMI 5K walk in Glasgow Park. And I told her what our situation was, and she said, I know about the program, and whatever you need, I will make it happen. And there's a lot of times in life when people tell you that, but they don't follow through with it. In this particular case here, the new budget year for the state, we got word that Representative Longhurst was providing us with a substantial amount of money that allowed us to eventually hire a civilian employee for that unit. So I thank you for being true to your words. I thank you for your work that you do on a continuous basis to serve the citizens of the state of Delaware as well as Newcastle County. So, again, in closing, I would just say that we're all in this together. Our goal is to save lives, to change lives. This can't be an individual task. There has to be something that we continue to have our strong partnership, and if we continue doing the things that we're doing, there's no question that we will have the impact that we're looking to have. Thank you.
And now I'd like to formally introduce State Representative Valerie Longhurst for a few words.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I had an opening speech to give in the city, and I raced here, but I went the speed limit. So good morning, everybody, and thank you so much to the Newcastle County Attack Addiction County Executive Matt Meyer, advocates and colleagues, and especially Colonel Bond for your work on this new program. What we're announcing today is just another tool in our toolbox in the fight against addiction, the addiction epidemic. The beauty of embedding medical and social service professionals within our first responders teams is they will help Delawareans in crisis right then and there. Our police officers are often the first point of contact for individuals who are struggling, whether it be addiction or mental health. And as we've seen in every community, we have a lot of people who are struggling. As the days and the weeks go by, it becomes more and more difficult to intervene. So we know those first interventions are critical. I had the privilege of doing a ride along with our police officers, and it was a powerful and humbling experience. There are so many Delawareans who seek help, but don't know how or where to turn. This new behavioral health unit will be a game changer. I commend Newcastle County Police for recognizing what is happening in our communities and investing in the behavioral health unit. And I'm happy the state of Delaware was able to provide the funding to make it a reality. These innovative partnerships are needed if we want to beat down on the scourge of addiction, and I look forward to continuing our work to be creative and combat the issue head on. So once again, thank you to all of our first responders. You're doing a terrific job out there. Thank you for your innovative thinking in creating this unit, and I'm hoping that this is the first step in combating addiction and the epidemic that we're facing in the state of Delaware. Thank you.
And now I'd like to call to the podium Dr. Joshua Thomas, Executive Director of National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to say a few remarks this morning. Isn't it nice that Newcastle County has the honor of having leadership that not only leads with their heads, very intelligent leaders, but also lead with their heart? To hear the police chief say the reason we're doing this is because we care is remarkable, and he is to be commended along with the county executive for leading this very important effort. We are extremely grateful to you and to all who are a part of this effort. The Newcastle County and the Newcastle County Police Department were early adopters of the Crisis Intervention Team program when it was launched in 2014. And your police chief, Von Bond, was very much involved in forming that training effort and creating that to help officers better manage mental health crises and addiction crises in the community. It's nice to see that this innovative approach continues as this new unit is formed to better serve our community. You know, the path of least resistance for law enforcement is to stay in that traditional role and just keep putting people in handcuffs and taking them to jail. But the reality is, for decades, the criminal justice system has been the default mental health and addiction system. People ended up in jails and prisons that would be better served in treatment. And it's great to see now a program expand that's going to help people get into that needed treatment so that hopefully they're not going to come into contact with law enforcement anymore. They're going to live in recovery, and they're going to continue to be productive, contributing citizens in our community. It is time for communities across this country to embrace this concept of treatment and not jail. And this new effort to divert people is incredibly important, and I am so grateful for all the members of the media that are here to help spread this message, and I truly hope that law enforcement and criminal justice leaders across the state of Delaware are watching this today and are going to join this effort and follow the lead of the Newcastle County Police Department and Newcastle County. Thank you so much for all that you are doing to support the people in our community who are struggling. And thank you to all the officers who every day serve us in our community. We are so grateful. Thank you.
And now for a few words from Mr. Hughes from Attack Addiction.
Good morning. I think to understand where you're going, you need to have a little bit of an idea of where you have come from. Back in the late 1990s, Marie Allen started telling the story of her daughter, Erin. At the time, she was the lone voice in the wilderness. Her presentation evolved into Heroin Alert program. That effort was long supported by the Newcastle County Police. This program was one of its first of its kind in the country. Newcastle County Police were an early progressive adapter in educating our youth about the dangers of heroin. I saw Marie Allen speak to a group of young people in an IOP program as part of the drug diversion court. One young man told Marie that he had tried many illegal drugs, but never heroin. It was due to having seen her presentation. Marie was in tears. Back in 2014, two important bills were passed in Delaware. One granted community access to the life-saving medication naloxone. The second bill allowed all departments of peace officers to be trained and carry naloxone. Once again, Newcastle County Police were an early adapter, becoming the second department to be trained. They invited me to observe their first training class in March of 2015. I was introduced then to now retired, then Captain Pat Crowell. And it's always the personal stories that touch you. On May 19th, 2015, at 2:40 in the afternoon, Captain Crowell hit send on an email informing me that the Newcastle County Police had saved their first life by administering naloxone. At 4 p.m. that same afternoon, I replied, "You can't believe how poignant it is that you have sent this to me today. I have literally just walked in the door from visiting my son Greg's gravesite at Valley Forge National Park 3 years to the day after his death. You have made my day immeasurably better." In 2014, we lost 186 Delawareans to overdose death. In 2015, we lost 228 Delawareans to opioid overdose. Without the efforts of the Newcastle County Police, with close to 80 documented lives saved in 2015, that number of deaths would have risen from 186 to over 300. Newcastle County Police would later launch Heroin Trap website in an attempt to further educate the public about the disease of addiction. More recently, Hero Help was launched. Once again, Newcastle County Police were a progressive force in saving lives and addressing the public health crisis of the 21st century. This program has been emulated in some form with various police departments across the state. One of the biggest obstacles toward addressing opioid use disorder has been the stigma or perception of just who those in active addiction are. Those perceptions have been held by civilian public and also law enforcement. Those in active use still have an unfounded fear of police as the bad guys. The truth is that here in Delaware, our police departments have become a progressive force seeking to help rather than arrest people who have this disease. The Newcastle County Police Department has led the way in changing the hearts and minds of other departments here in our state as well as our neighbors. So it should come as no surprise that the Newcastle County is taking another step forward, creating the Addiction and Behavioral Health Unit. I always love to steal a good quote. People change. People need help. Help them. Thank you, Newcastle County, for helping them.
This concludes our press conference. Thank you very much for attending. Have a good day.